Your weight might be normal, your stomach might look flat, but deep inside, wrapped around your liver, pressed against your kidneys, suffocating your intestines, a dangerous fat is hiding in plain sight. Its name is visceral fat. And it's not just stored energy, it's a biological time bomb ticking quietly inside you. Today we're going to break down exactly what happens to your body when this fat finally begins to release. From your hormones to your heart, from your liver to your lungs. This is the Great Release, explained through science. Part 1. The hormonal earthquake. Change begins from within. Visceral fat isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It behaves like a hidden organ. It constantly releases proteins called cytokines, which keep your entire body locked in a state of permanent, low-grade inflammation. What does that mean? Your immune system is always running in alert mode. That chronic fatigue, that brain fog, those unexplained mood swings. Visceral fat is quietly behind all of it. But the moment you enter a caloric deficit or increase your metabolic demand, the very first thing that happens is insulin begins to fall. Insulin is the hormone that locks fat in place and keeps it stored. And as insulin drops, another shift begins. Your body starts producing adiponectin, a hormone that signals your muscles to use glucose efficiently instead of storing it as fat. Scientists call it the body's metabolic green light. Here's the most fascinating part. This hormonal shift happens before the scale moves. That's why people say, I haven't lost much weight yet, but my mind feels clearer. My sleep is better. That's not imagination. That's biochemistry happening in real time. Part 2. Your organs finally get room to breathe. Literally. Visceral fat doesn't just disrupt your hormones. It puts direct physical pressure on your internal organs. When this fat begins to shrink, one by one, your organs start to recover. The liver benefits first. Visceral fat actually infiltrates liver cells, a condition known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. As fat begins leaving the liver, its detoxification capacity improves dramatically. Cholesterol management normalizes. Liver enzymes stabilize. Your liver quite literally starts functioning like new. Your heart carries less burden. Pumping blood through a congested, fat-filled abdomen is extra work for your heart. As visceral fat decreases, blood pressure shows a measurable drop, and this can happen within just a few weeks. Not from medication, from biology. Your lungs, yes, those too. This is the most underrated benefit of all. Visceral fat presses against your diaphragm, restricting how deeply you can breathe. When that pressure lifts, your breathing becomes deeper, oxygen exchange improves, and your body runs more efficiently. People often say, I didn't realize how shallow my breathing was before. Part 3. Where does the fat actually go? The answer will surprise you. This is the most commonly asked question, and the answer is genuinely remarkable. Fat doesn't melt. It doesn't burn the way most people imagine. What actually happens is a precise biochemical process called beta oxidation. When your body targets visceral fat stores, triglycerides are released into the bloodstream as free fatty acids. These fatty acids travel to the mitochondria inside your cells, the so-called powerhouse of the cell. There they are converted into ATP, pure cellular energy that powers everything your body does. And the byproducts of this entire process? Carbon dioxide and water, which means you are literally exhaling your fat. Research confirms that 84% of the fat you lose exits your body through your lungs as carbon dioxide. The remaining 16% leaves through sweat, urine, and water vapor. So the next time you're deep in a HIIT session, breathing hard and heavy, remember this. You are breathing fat out of your body. That's not poetry. That's pure science. Part 4. The long-term reset. Biology rewrites itself. After consistent weeks of visceral fat loss, something deeper begins to happen. The shift isn't temporary. It changes your metabolic identity. Insulin sensitivity is restored. Your blood sugar stays stable throughout the day. That 3 p.m. sugar craving that felt impossible to fight? That wasn't a lack of willpower. That was biology. When your insulin receptors start working properly again, those cravings naturally disappear. Leptin resistance begins to break. Leptin is the hormone that sends your brain the signal, You're full, stop eating. But when visceral fat is high, this signal gets blocked. Your brain literally cannot hear it, so you keep eating past fullness and then feel guilty about it. But the problem was never your discipline. It was leptin resistance. As visceral fat decreases, the signal clears. You naturally eat less, without counting calories, without obsessing over portions. Your body starts regulating itself the way it was designed to. Part 5. How to trigger the release. What science actually says. Here's the good news you've been waiting for. Visceral fat is actually easier to lose than subcutaneous fat, the fat you can pinch under your skin. Why? Because visceral fat is metabolically active. It responds to the right stimulus fast. You just need to give it the right signal. HIIT training, high-intensity interval training, directly spikes growth hormone, and growth hormone is visceral fat's greatest enemy. Just 20 to 25 minutes of intense interval work, 3 to 4 times a week, produces measurable results in weeks, not months. Cut refined sugar. This is the single most impactful dietary change you can make specifically for visceral fat. Sugar spikes insulin. Insulin stores visceral fat. Breaking this cycle is the most powerful step you can take. You don't need a perfect diet. Just reduce the sugar. Protect your sleep. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is visceral fat's best friend. Sleep deprivation raises cortisol. Quality sleep, 7 to 8 hours, keeps cortisol controlled. Sleep is not laziness. Sleep is a fat loss strategy. Closing. When visceral fat begins to release, you aren't just losing weight, you are reclaiming years of your life. Inflammation drops, organs decompress, hormones reset, mental clarity returns, and your body, which has been quietly struggling under this invisible burden, finally begins to function the way it was always meant to. This isn't just a physical transformation, this is a biological resurrection. If this breakdown gave you value, hit like and subscribe for more science-backed deep dives. And drop a comment below. What's the very first health change you noticed when you started your journey?